In this video, we are going to be talking about the elements of water and earth. We're going to be talking about how these elements are absolutely necessary for creating a new beginning, creating a new life, creating a new world. We'll also talk about the deity that is associated with these two elements. His name is Xuan Wu. He is known as the true warrior. He's known as the warrior of the north. He's associated with these elements of water and earth. He is also master of the macrocosmic yin and yang. And when you combine all of these forces together under conscious mastery, what you get is a transformational creation of a new reality. And this is what we need. Now, I'm also going to be talking about why this is coming about now. Because what we are experiencing in the world right now is there is a chronic, either overabundance or a tremendous lack of both of these elements. Truth is that all of the elements are out of balance right now, but these two are absolutely necessary. And the reason why these two elements of water and earth have become so polluted and so weakened is because if your water and your earth elements aren't functioning at their highest capacity, you can't think for yourself. Not only can you not think for yourself, but you cannot envision your reality, and you can't create a higher frequency of your reality. So we're going to heal that today in this video. I'm going to go into depth talking about it. So let's go ahead and get started. Let's get started with the deity himself. A very mysterious, very powerful deity. But if you can get this conscious being working for you, and if you're willing to work with this conscious being and go through the transformations he will bring, literally what will happen, I can tell you from personal experience, is a brand new reality for you, a completely different world that you never knew existed. All right, so Xuan Wu is a deity that has mastery over macrocosmic yin and yang. He also has mastery over earth and water. When he is invoked through sacred energy magic, he gives the person a new vision of themselves and a new vision of the world they are destined to create. Understand that, hypothetically speaking, you could be sitting in the world, the reality that you're in, and then there's a destiny that is, if you want to call it a timeline. I've said numerous times that multiple timelines don't exist. And people have gotten confused by that. What exists is multiple, in fact, infinite probable realities. But they're not all manifested and existing at the same time. Like when you switch from one channel to another, back when we used to watch television, we had to walk up to the television and do this. There was a little button you had to click to get to a different channel. You move it on the radio, you get to a different station. I guess you do that streaming, Netflix or Apple TV. You switch from one channel to another. And so you can't watch all of the shows at the same time. I know some people who have tried. You can't. You can only really watch one channel at a time. This reality is like that. You can only manifest one reality at a time. So in each probable reality, there is, the most probable outcome. You can call that your destiny. So what we are going through right now is we are shifting to a completely different reality, both individually and communally. And there's two channels right now that are vying for dominance. And according to many people, I think this is possible. I believe what will happen is these two probable realities will split. You can call them timelines. That's not really what they are. But in terms of you can only manifest one probable reality at a time. Those other realities have completely different endpoints. And so when you're able to shift up to a higher evolutionary expression of yourself, your destiny in that world will be magical and mythological. So this is what Xuan Wu brings. He gives the power to decide and determine a new world. So, let's keep going. In this time of 3D to 5D frequency shift, Xuan Wu has awakened to help humans envision a new path for themselves and a new path for the earth. He also gives power to create that new vision. So besides using the elements of water and earth, and we're going to talk about how these are used and how the Maoshan used the water and the earth to create healing and empowerment and transformation. There's also yin and yang. Yin and yang is what, masculine and feminine is what creates new life. A new being with a new mind and a new vision. And so this is what you're going to do. Your world, when you create it, is going to have a new everything. It won't just be a slightly improved version of this, brighter and more colorful. It'll have a completely different rules to it. Anyway, you'll find out. So in this time of 3D, 5D frequency shift, Xuan Wu has awakened to help humans envision a new path for themselves and the new earth. He also gives power to create that new vision. If you feel blocked in your ability to see how to move forward in your world, Xuan Wu can give you the combined power of earth and water to understand and believe in your vision. These are the two elements right there. Then the power of the wood element, which is life force energy, will then give you the power to act upon your vision. So do you understand that? So we talked about this before in a previous video where you have to have the power of life force energy. In terms of the 5 elements, that's the ether element or the wood element. Without that, you can't move, you can't take action. And so in order to get to that place, you first have to have something to take action on. And if your water element and your earth element are not balanced or empowered or cooperating and working together, then you can't even come up with an idea of where to go. So forget about, getting the power to move forward, because if you have, if you've got a V8 engine and it's not hooked up to the transmission, the car won't go. You can step on the gas all you want, nothing's going to happen. So that's kind of what happens. But if you don't even have an idea, if you can't even envision a new world to create, that's a really horrible place to be. And that is where most people in the world are, which is why most people in the world want to be told what to do, why most people in the world want to simply just belong to whomever will tell them, you're okay, you can be part of us. This is again why I so strongly react to a lot of the New Age channelers out there who love to channel for the collective. And that is not what we're moving into. We're not moving into a collective. We're not a herd of animals. We're not sheep. Sheep is collect. You want to know what the collective is? It's sheep. One dog can tell an entire herd of sheep where to go and what to do, because they just want to be together in a herd. You are an individual. You are a god. And while we can connect to the unconscious collective consciousness and, you know, be energetically and consciously connected to everything, it doesn't mean that we're waiting around for some command to pull us somewhere. You're an individual with your own thoughts, your own destiny. And when you act upon your own highest destiny, other people awaken to their highest destiny. So, this is water and earth. So if you feel blocked in your ability to see how to move forward in your world, Xuan Wu can give you the combined power of earth and water to understand, that's earth, and believe, that's water, in your vision. Then the power of life force energy gives you power, and you can act upon that vision and create it. So, earth is creative thinking to create physical reality. Chinese call it yi, intention. So it has a direct connection to the third eye. There's a direct connection from the third eye all the way down to the root. Again, this is why people, when they sit down in the bathroom, they want to play a game, or they want to read a book, or they'll think about, they'll figure things out. It's because the digestion, the root, the earth has a direct connection to your intent. Earth changes, it transforms in a physical way. It'll create from, if you give earth resources, our planet, if you give our planet resources, it creates things. It creates gemstones, it creates metal, it creates plants, it creates mountains and rivers and oceans. It creates from all of the resources that are given to her. So when you're able to access these resources, then you can create new things, new life. So earth is creative thinking to create physical reality. Water is nourishment that brings resources to the mind. So when I was a kid, I can remember, when I was a kid, the thing is that adults, especially, adults like businessmen, they had, if they were under a lot of stress, they had stomach ulcers. I mean, it was all over the place, and it was a meme. You heard about it when you watch television, when you watch the news. People would say, "Go drink some buttermilk; it'll be good for," which is a ridiculous idea. Somehow buttermilk is going to get rid of your stomach ulcer. But when doctors figured out that stomach ulcers were stress. Again, the stomach is the earth trying to comprehend. So when you've got a problem that you can't resolve, the earth element has difficulty absorbing and digesting life. It can't solve the problem, and you can't figure it out. So once doctors wrote in newspapers and in magazines, they started saying that stomach ulcers were a result of stress. Then all of a sudden, all the people who had stomach ulcers realized it had nothing to do. It wasn't like they had a physical illness, or they realized it was simply because they were stressed out. And once the collective unconscious accepted that, stomach ulcers went away. However, it went deeper. It went from the earth to water. It went backwards. So the problem got pushed in the elemental cycle. We've got, when the controlling cycle, which is what we use to actually, I call it the purifying cycle because it purifies. We go wood, metal, fire, water, earth. So instead of going water, earth, it went earth, water. It went backwards. People were pushing it down further. Their brain knew that stomach ulcers weren't a real physical thing. It was just stress. And so then it went somewhere else. And then what started to happen is people started having chronic back pain. I remember when it happened. I was a little kid. My dad had it. Couldn't move because he had chronic, his back was out. You threw your back out. And if you're listening to me and you have this, unless you were in a car crash, you bend over and then you can't walk for a week. It's very unlikely that there's a physical problem. It's the nerves and the muscles in the lower back go into spasm because the brain turns off blood, which is water, nutrients, the lack of oxygen in the nerves and in the muscles forces it to go into spasm. It's that simple. And so the kidneys are associated with this, and this is when people started having back pain, and it's to this day. What does it mean? It means that the water element is not flowing. It's not flowing because you don't believe, you don't trust. You don't believe that the mother, the water element, wants to nourish you and love you. You don't believe that you're worthy of it. You don't believe it because you've been told that you're not worthy of it, without launching into a big diatribe about it. This whole idea of money, which has been created, it's a non-existent thing that's been created solely to control you and make you fearful. Today, everybody, I don't care what they say, we are programmed to believe that our value comes from how much money we have. People have a lot of money, you automatically feel loved and nurtured. Or you worry about losing it, and there are a lot of rich people with back pain. So it means that the water element isn't flowing. So what ends up happening is we have this problem, and then we cannot see a new reality, we cannot create a new reality, and then we can't get access to the power to accomplish it. So water is nourishment that brings resources to the mind, the earth. When the thinking is bloated or blocked, wood forces action. So when I'm on this channel and I stopped doing live streams for this very reason. Because I can tell within the first couple of words in your statement where your mind is at. And if I can tell that you are in a state of fear, if you are, if you want to get elemental about it, if your wood is blocked or your water is blocked, I get frustrated because you're going to ask questions that go in the wrong direction. Like, when I just recently made available the Dark Warrior of the North, which is Xuan Wu, the Qigong form, I had numerous people complain about the price. I got, in one case, somebody personally messaged me and said something about the price, and I got very harsh with that person. That was the wood. That's the wood element coming in and telling the blocked mind, because what I see immediately when people complain about money, especially when we're not talking $10,000. We're talking much less than that, over something that you say you really want. And when people complain about the money and the inference is, I can't do anything about it, I'm blocked, you need to make it easier for me. I start coming at you and I explain that your assumption is coming from the belief that you will never be able to find the resources to get what you want, which is comes from another assumption, which is that you don't deserve the universe to give you the resources that you want. And when people are locked in that to such a degree that they want me to take responsibility for their inability to get the things that they want, my wood comes out. My wood element comes out and I say, why aren't you asking a different question? Why aren't you asking, how can I find a way to get what I want? Like if you ask me that question, if I release a product and it's a challenge for you in terms of finances or whatever other reason, if you responded and asked me, can you give me advice on how I can make this affordable? You're going to get a much different response from me. So when somebody asks that question, it means that their wood is not even showing up. The water and the earth are out of balance. So the earth now, we need to get the earth element moving because the water element is out of balance. And I talked about this in a previous video where what happens when there's a flood? There's all this water on top of the earth. So the earth can't make use of the water. It's flooded. It's muddy. You want to be able to allow the earth to take that water and use it to nourish and create life. So if you're not able to take the water from the universe and have the earth transform it into something in your mind, a new vision for your reality, then that has to be fixed. So when the water element is completely out of whack, we need the earth to come in. Whoops. All right, so when the mind is flooded with water, fear, needing approval. So lower back pain, pain around the area of the kidneys is fear. And fear is nothing more than the belief that the mother will not nourish you. If you want to know what your fear is about, fear is always about not being given what you need to survive. And if you take that further, it means love, because the mother loves the child and gives the child her milk, resources, so the child can live and survive. If it's the same thing, if you have lower back pain, it means that you believe that your earth mother, the universal mother, doesn't love you. Therefore, you believe you will not get the resources and you will die. So what do you do instead? You worship human society created money, which doesn't exist. Take a stack of dollar bills and try and eat it. It won't nourish you. Take a stack of dollar bills and wear it as clothing. It won't work. Take a stack of dollar bills and try and drink it. Take a stack of dollar bills, throw it on the ground and say, okay, become a house. Money can't do anything. You don't even have dollar bills anymore. Plastic. Your computer, it can't take care of you. So you're asking that to take care of you. You begin to worship an idea, an arbitrary intellectual concept called money. You begin to worship that as God. And you know that it's arbitrary. You know that money doesn't care about anybody. However you end up with a lot of money, that money isn't looking at you going, I love you. That money is just sitting there. You're looking at your credit card, your bank account. That money doesn't love you. It can be taken, it can be stolen from you. Nobody can steal your mother's love from you. See where I'm going with this? So when the mind becomes flooded with water, fear, needing approval, the mind becomes confused and loses self-awareness. And then you go into codependence. Codependence is, bottom line is that your value comes from something outside of you. Codependence isn't being too needy. It's not what codependence is. That's one symptom, but that's not what it is. Codependence means you do not believe that you deserve to exist. And so you need to find something outside of you which will give you temporary, superficial worth that other people will notice and acknowledge. Money is one of them. If you're attractive, you can become a model. Why do you think, OnlyFans is just gone rampant? It's because, you're a young woman and you're attractive. You need to get your value somewhere. So it's just simply on how you look and those other superficial things. We all know what I'm talking about. So your codependence is your value comes from something outside of you. You're a boxer and your value comes from being able to beat the guy up. You're a bodybuilder and it comes from having big muscles. It doesn't matter. You're a comedian, you're a musician. Whatever it is that is not your soul that you believe gives you value in this society, what people call relevance, that's codependence. And this means that your water isn't working. Your water element isn't flowing because you don't trust. The water can't flow if you don't trust that your mother is going to give you the nourishing milk of love and resources. So the mind becomes confused, loses self-awareness. The person loses the understanding that they have a destiny to create a new reality. So if you're out there trying to get a career, trying to make money in the stock market, in crypto, in picket, you're going to go and get a degree in something you really don't give that much of a crap about so that you can have a career. This is what we're talking about. You're not even thinking about creating a new reality for yourself. You're not even in the space where your earth element can bring to your mind a new understanding, a new world that you never could have seen before. So by empowering the earth element to control the water, which is really to purify the water, the person has the ability to comprehend reality and envision a new world. So let's talk about the earth element again. Earth element in the body is digestion. Taking the earth, the food, and absorbing it, digesting it, getting all the nutrients from it, and that then is converted into you. Your life is created from that earth, those earth resources. So when you're not, first, if you don't trust, you're full of fear, you're codependent, you're not going to be able to get the water coming in. The earth then can't absorb the water. It's not like a puddle on top of the earth. It's useless to everybody. You then can't comprehend your life. Not only can you not comprehend where you are, what's going on, you don't comprehend what's going on in life. You can't figure out any solutions to what you perceive to be your problems. By the way, the vast majority, if not all of your problems, are just your perceptions of problems. They're easily solved. That's the thing I'm finding out. Problems are so easily solved just by turning and going in that direction. You're told you have to go in this direction, so you keep banging your head against the wall. This is the earth. The earth is blocked. So by empowering the earth element to control the water, the person has the ability to understand, to comprehend, to digest reality, and envision a new world. Then the wood element takes that vision and acts upon it. So where are you in all of that? Where are you? Be honest. What you will have to do is you will have to let go of what you think you understand. You will have to let go of your attachment, even your obsession over what you think you want to create. You have to have enough trust with the water to flow with the energy. Because what's happening is there's a new reality that's coming in. And that new reality is going to start guiding you into different directions if you listen to the energy. If you don't listen to the energy, you'll just keep banging up against the wall. Even though, just 2 inches to the left, there's a door and there's nothing stopping you. This is like, if a door's right here and you just keep walking head first into the wall right next to the door. this is what the earth can give you. You'll have to let go of what you think you want. You're going to have to get into a place of trust. So just to give you an example, in my life here, I've got an amazing setup for about half the year. I live in North Florida, which is a tropical paradise where I live. Maybe not the rest of Florida, but where I live on the ocean, surrounded by thick, amazing rainforest, palm trees, and it's absolute tropical paradise. But it's only that way for about 5.5, 6 months. Then wintertime, it is. I lived in Southern California. I can tell you the winters here in Northern Florida are colder on the whole than winters I've spent up in the mountains above Los Angeles. It's horrible here. So if I go with that energy, the energy is telling me stay here for this time. It turns out that the house I live in, I can only live in it. I can only rent it for 6.5 months during the best time of the year. The rest of the time, other people are living here. So if I try and force myself to stay here, I'm going to be miserable. I know because I did it 2 years, earlier. And this year, have decided to do something completely different. And now, what has changed on me is I've got this tropical beach summer home that I live in the summer. And I've got whole other things set up for me all across the country. I've already set it up. We've got stuff all over the country for the rest of that half of the year where I get to live in mountains, I get to live in other places, and I get to do the things that I love more than ever. And that came about from doing this set. I trained, I channeled this set, and then as I was videotaping it, I did it over and over and over, and it completely shifted, just like it turned my head and shifted it to this other world that started being created for me. And on top of that, all of my fear left. All of my fears and all of the things that were bugging me, all of the things that were blocking me and holding me back, they were gone. Not to mention the fact that a bunch of stuff in my body healed. But that is the earth and the water getting back in the proper flow, as well as yin and yang, bringing in the power, the creative power of yin and yang. So this, I know, is happening for everybody, because what has literally happened is that a new reality has been created for me. Partially because I took my head out of my rear end and I looked in a different direction, but the other one is I can actually see that new things are popping up in my world that didn't exist literally 6 months ago. They're just now coming into reality because I'm ready to create that reality. So, if you want to balance these elements, there's all kinds of ways to do it. I've taught you in the getting over, if you haven't watched it, watch the video I have on my channel about procrastination. I've told you how you can access the 5 elements and get them flowing. The most powerful way to do that is in what I'm teaching. So the Xuan 5 elements, which can be found here at maoshan.thunderwizard.com. And at the shop, you see, you can go to thunderwizard.com, click on shop, and then you'll see all of the 5 elements there. There's the wood. You can start with that. You have to start with wood and finish all the way to earth. I tell people they can do wood if they're just like, I don't have the money for anything else. You can do the wood set, the wood form, and then do the chants for the rest of the elements. But you should get through all of the 5 elements as quickly as you can, because you want that energy to start flowing. And the way that we do it, we purify the elements. So what's happening now is we've got a lot of people who have bloated elements. Their earth is bloated. So the earth doesn't need more energy. The earth needs to refine and get rid of what it doesn't need. The water doesn't need more energy. The water is overflowing and it's flooded. So what we need to do now is we need to refine the elements and purify them. And that's what we do here with this Xuan practice. So I had such a powerful experience with this set. The Dark Warrior of the North, the Schwan Wu, which you can find here at maoshan.thunderwizard.com. I've made it affordable for everybody. By the way, those of you who were complaining about the price, I was originally going to charge 3 times that amount. And so that's why it was so shocking to me. I mean, I said, no, I have such respect for this power that I believe people will benefit. You know, if you sacrifice for something, you'll learn it. But I wanted to make it available to everybody who wanted to do it. But I had to give it enough value that it was worth something. Because I know what happens when you give things away to most people. They don't value them, which means they don't learn. And my job is to teach. So if you want to get that, you can go to maoshan.thunderwizard.com, and no matter where you are in the Maoshan energy system, you will benefit from this form, because it is Qigong, which is life force energy. It's Yigong, which is your intention, which is the earth. It's Shigong, which is the energy of the higher dimensional electromagnetic force that surrounds and protects the soul. And it is Shengong, which means that it is direct communication and worship of a deity who gives you their power and their guidance. So it's very valuable. Anyway, that's it, my friends. You know what to do. You know where to go. We've got a new live guided interdimensional meditation tonight. This is Wednesday. We do this every Wednesday and Saturday, 8:30 p.m. Eastern, live streamed on this channel. It's free. I recommend that you come check it out. If you can't be here for the live stream, you can go to the live section on my channel and you can watch the archived versions. I love you all. Please be good to yourselves. I will see you all very, very soon.